You ever rewatch something from your childhood and suddenly realize, wait, why was this even allowed on TV? Well, today we're talking about a character who might be far worse than you remember. Someone who looks harmless, goofy, awkward. But beneath the teddy bear and the brown tweed jacket lies a pattern of disturbing behavior.
Yes, please.
Nobody ever warned us about. And no, I'm not exaggerating. You clicked on this video because deep down, you already know something's not right with him. Because this isn't just clumsiness. It isn't just misunderstandings. This is Mr. Bean at his most evil, and today we're exposing him. From cruelty disguised as comedy to psychological warfare masked as slapstick to moments so unhinged you can't believe you laughed at them. This is the side of Mr. Bean the show never wanted you to think about. And honestly, when you really break it down, the guy might be one of the most unhinged characters in children's television. So buckle up, because this rabbit hole goes a lot darker than you think. Let's start with the episode where Bean stops being a lovable fool and becomes something much scarier. It all begins with a simple rat, just a tiny, harmless rat running around Mrs. Wickett's house. Most people would call pest control, set a humane trap, or, react like a normal person. But Mr. Bean, he instantly goes full supervillain. The moment he spots the rat, something snaps inside him. He doesn't see a small animal, he sees an enemy, a threat, a personal challenge. And with a grin on his face, yes, a grin, Bean gets to work creating what can only be described as a torture chamber disguised as pest control. First, he starts with a basic trap, not too bad, but then he escalates. Strong adhesive glue, industrial vacuum suction, metal bear traps, yes, actual bear traps, inside a suburban house. At this point, it becomes painfully clear this isn't about catching the rat, this is about winning. It's about dominating something weaker than him and enjoying it. And here's the worst part, he keeps smiling. He treats the whole thing like some twisted game. The rat becomes prey and Bean becomes the hunter, gleefully watching as every contraption gets more dangerous, more extreme, and more unhinged. But the second things go wrong, when the traps start injuring him instead, he doesn't stop. He doesn't rethink anything. He doubles down. He pulls out bigger tools, louder devices, harsher plans. At one point, he isn't trying to trap the rat anymore, does he? He's trying to crush it, scare it, punish it simply for existing. There's a moment, and you'll know it if you've seen the episode, where he looks at the rat with this expression that doesn't say, "Oops, silly me." It says, "I'm going to win, no matter what it takes." Tell me that isn't villain behavior. And once everything collapses into chaos, the rat escaping, the traps backfiring, Mrs. Wicket nearly being dragged into disaster, Bean smiles again. Not because he's sorry, but because in his mind, all of this was justified. The destruction, the danger, the cruelty, or maybe proving something else entirely. And if Rat Trap wasn't disturbing enough on its own, things only get worse from here. It starts innocently enough. Bean attends a magic show. He sits in the audience, clapping awkwardly, minding his own business. But when the hypnotist calls for volunteers, Bean doesn't even raise his hand. He gets dragged into the spotlight. And this is where things get terrifying. Because the hypnotist doesn't just make Bean dance or act silly. He takes away Bean's free will.
Now I wonder if this man can dance.
His sense of reality, his entire personality. And Bean just collapses into a state of blind obedience, completely gone. But what's messed up isn't what happens to Bean, it's what Bean becomes after. When the hypnosis ends, Bean doesn't return to normal. He becomes wrong, empty, uncontrolled. He wanders into the streets with this blank, almost possessed expression, and then he starts doing things that aren't just silly or goofy, but genuinely disturbing. He scares strangers. He invades people's personal space.
Don't go! Don't go!
He lashes out without even knowing why. He behaves like a ticking time bomb wearing a brown suit. And here's the worst part. The hypnotist has no idea he's unleashed this version of Bean into the world. No one checks on him. No one helps him. He's just released into society like some unstable experiment. But the moment that proves how dangerous hypnotized Bean really is the one where he wanders into the park. He stares at random people. He mimics them creepily. He disrupts a family picnic. He causes panic, fear, confusion, and he has no awareness of any of it. This isn't slapstick anymore. This is Mr. Bean as a hazard, a walking psychological weapon.
Wait!
The episode starts off pretty normally. Bean sees a thief sneaking around town, stealing from random people. You'd think Bean would run the other way, or call the police, or just mind his own business like he usually does, but not this time.
Ready for action.
This time, Bean decides he wants to be a hero, but not because he wants to help anyone. Not because he cares about justice. He wants attention. He wants glory. He wants to be the center of the world.
Would these help, madam?
So he puts on a homemade superhero costume, complete with a cape, mask, and dramatic poses, and begins protecting the city. Except his version of protection basically means creating chaos everywhere he goes. He sets traps, breaks property, and even scares innocent people, all while pretending he's doing a public service. And the worst part? His traps catch the wrong people. A man walking his dog, a woman just going to the store, a cyclist who wasn't hurting anyone. Bean doesn't care. In his mind, every mistake is part of his hero training. That's the moment you start realizing Bean's not saving anyone. He's turning the entire neighborhood into his playground, and he's loving it. If superhero Bean shows his obsession with attention, Magpie shows something much darker. Bean's instinct for revenge. A magpie steals Bean's watch. Normal people would try to shoo the bird away or call animal services. But Bean declares war. He follows the bird back to its nest, sees all the items it's stolen, and then steals them back, even though most of them don't belong to him. He's literally robbing innocent neighbors and blaming it on a bird. And then he traps the magpie inside his apartment. The bird panics. It flaps everywhere. It crashes into things. It breaks furniture. It screams. And Bean stands there watching, not concerned, not empathetic, but annoyed the bird isn't cooperating. He doesn't care about the mess. He doesn't care about the chaos. He cares about winning. And that's what makes this episode so unsettling. It's not the bird's behavior, it's Bean's. This one might be the clearest example of Bean's villain side, because here he isn't driven by fear or attention. He's driven by pure pettiness. Bean orders DIY furniture. He can't figure it out. He gets frustrated.
That's not right.
Instead of admitting he's wrong, he blames the company. He storms into their warehouse, breaks their equipment, sabotages the assembly line, dumps boxes everywhere, destroys hundreds of products. Workers run around panicking as everything collapses. Machines spark, products explode, conveyor belts crash, and Bean walks away smiling because he won. This is the moment where Bean stops being chaotic and starts being cruel. A bird moves into Bean's building and admires him. He sees Bean as a hero, a mentor, a role model. But Bean doesn't treat him like a friend. He treats him like a tool. He drags the bird into dangerous situations. He tricks him into doing chores. He manipulates him into helping with risky projects. And when things go wrong, Bean blames them. It's one of the few episodes where another character sees Bean's true nature. And Bean hates that. He tries sabotaging the bird's new friendships. Not because he misses him, but because he can't stand losing control. That's when you realize Mr. Bean's innocence is an act, a mask, a disguise. He gets away with everything because he pretends not to understand. But he does. He knows exactly what he's doing. When you put every episode together, the traps in Superhero Bean, the war with the magpie, the torture maze in Rat Trap, the sabotage in Flatpack, the manipulation in A New Friend, you start seeing a pattern. Bean doesn't cause chaos accidentally. He causes it deliberately and hides behind clumsiness to avoid responsibility. His most evil plan isn't one moment. It isn't one villain act. It's the act of pretending to be harmless. The innocent face, the goofy smile, the confused blinking, it's all a shield. A perfectly crafted disguise that lets him do whatever he wants without ever getting caught. And once you notice it, you can't unsee it.